Okay, I was running out of space on my hard drive there on my phone. Okay. I've got the second template, the one that goes under the top there, made. I got the bottom one made. The only thing I haven't done there is trace the bottom holes, which means I got to get my eyes on the ground and make sure that I'm in the right. The other thing I noticed is this frame dips down on this side right here, and it doesn't over here. So that means this frame box is going to be different. I mean, I knew they were going to be different. I just knew I thought they would be opposites of each other, but they won't. This is going to have some different plates to make it work. Different templates, which is no big deal. We can make it work. But the reason I'm doing all this the way I'm doing it is I've got to have some CAD drawings so I can make these for resale. So that's where we're at right now. I need to get on the ground and trace those templates, and then I need to make the inside piece with those 6 holes in it. At least the template of it. Tape it together, magnet, hold it together. I got magnets holding that in. So at least so I can mark the holes so that I can use the template on the steel that I'm going to cut to make those parts. I'll make one of these boxes at a time. I'll have to make templates for this side too. Those top ones may transfer. The inside one would transfer, but I don't even have one made for it yet. So I just have to get the measurements off of it and go from there. Okay, here's my inner wall template. Now, of course, I have to take 3/16 off the top, 3/16 off the bottom of the template before I transfer it to steel. Same thing for this one. This is one of the 6 holes. I only needed to know where that one is because I just need to get the height from there to the top. This is the center line. I got the center line lined up on the bracket. All I got to do is go pull one of those brackets off the shelf, put it on here, line it up, get all the holes, and then also take 3/16 off the top and top and bottom of this, and I can cut this out of metal. Should be able to use all these plates. Well, I'll be able to use the bottom, and that'd be in the inside one on this one. Actually, the inside one needs a drop too. I'm gonna have to build this drop into the outside, the top, and the bottom plate. So I have to see what to do about that. But that's where we're at right now. Templates. I've got the bottom one that's in there. I got it marked from the bottom with a pen. So when I get ready, I'll pull that off. I probably need to shave an 1/8 or a 1/16 off the outside of it before I cut it out of metal. Mark the holes, drill the holes, and it should fit both sides. The bottom one, top one for sure will. I can go ahead and cut it and the top inside plate of the box. The top plate over here is going to need to stop where this goes down at, and have to have an angled piece put on it. Maybe I just cut it and pull it down or something. I don't know. Actually, it needs to be flat because the control arm mounts onto it. It'll need a spacer under. That's what it'll need on the inside. It'll need on the outside, spacer under. On the inside, it'll have to drop down. But that's no big deal. Just another of the oddities of this truck. What I'm kind of worried about now is that coilover coming up through here. The coilover mount's going to be kind of odd, but it is what it is. It's going to be an odd shaped plate, but this is what makes it fun. The building it, fabrication, figuring it out. So let me do another piece and I'll get right back with you. Okay, gonna make a change. All right, this goes right here, and corresponding hole down there, but there's no hole inside there except for that. There's a front hole right in here. I think I want to go all the way back to use that hole and this hole on the two bottom pieces. That'll make it stronger. So I'll have to make these pieces longer. I have to redo this piece, inside piece. I'm gonna have to deal with that right there too, that angle on the inside piece though. I'm sure it's already got that angle. You have to get the angle taken care of too. Put the top piece on the outside. This just needs to be a little bit shorter right there. It needs to come back to here. Then that box plate on the inside needs to come back to here too. That'll make it stronger. So I'll make those new templates. And once I get this side squared away, I'll move to the other side. Top inside piece. Get it in there. I've got the holes marked. I'm going to use that one, and that one, and that one, even though I haven't drilled those yet. At least I marked them with the nib marker. It's basically that. If you guys ain't using nib markers instead of Sharpie, that's what you got to use. Look at that. These last longer than a Sharpie. That tip is stronger than the tip of a Sharpie. And you can get into stuff. You can write better with them, and they keep a fine point for a real long time. They're called long reach markers, nib markers, long nib marker. I got these on Amazon. Don't buy those cheap ones though. They suck. Okay, so this is the template for the box, the top. I just had it in there. I showed it to you. Well, the box bottom is going to be the same exact piece, except it's going to have different holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in there on the bottom, put a magnet on it, and I'm going to trace the holes from the bottom. That way I can use that same cardboard for two different templates without having to cut another one. Okay, there's my bottom. It's just basically traced on the bottom of this. So doesn't matter which corner I use for 0 here. I'll just have to measure these. You guys that don't know anything about CAD, basically you use the corner as 0, 0, okay? And this hole here, all I need to know is how far over it is to the center and how far up it is. Okay, so over, that's your x-axis, and up, that's your y-axis. Over, x, y is up. Same thing for this here. Same thing for any point. So if I'm drawing this in CAD, this would be, the x would be 0 inches over because it's right on the line. And the inches up, it's about, I think this is like 3 1/16. So I'm going to measure it again and make sure before I do it again. But that would be that one. Whatever distance that is, over and up, same thing with here, same thing there. That would be, the x would be whatever the length is, 7.9375. And the y would be 0. Okay, that's how CAD works. This I would do it upside down. I would make this line 0. And this would be a negative 3 1/16 or whatever. And I measure over and down for these, all those. And basically I've got a board with a ruler going up and a ruler going across, so I can measure that with. And I just set a square in there and figure out those points are. Because when I used to work at an armored car shop, we might have a piece that's shaped like this. You know, it'd be welded into the firewall of an armored vehicle. But to be able to cut that, you got to know all those points, and you got to mark them on the template, and you got to set it in the measuring device to measure it. Okay, because when we were doing this was before you could come up with a program that would trace it, to where you could trace it or take a picture of it and figure it out from that way. We had to actually measure and draw all those lines. So the thing about that is, it's good to know how to do that if you don't have the program that'll do it for you. So we got all the templates for one side. That's going to be it for this video. I'll do the templates and I'll pick up that on the other, because we are at 11 minutes right now. Peace.